In this week's Parsha, the Torah tells us about the Nazir. The Nazir is a person who has accepted upon himself not to do certain things, even though they're normally permitted things, like becoming tameh, like drinking any sort of wine products or grape products. And when we look at the messages about how the Torah describes this person, they seem to be almost conflicting messages. On the one hand, the Nazir is referred to a kadosh, a holy person. The Torah, when it's describing how a person verbalizes becoming a Nazir, the Torah says ki yafli. And the commentaries say that the word yafli also comes from the word pella, a wonderment. Wow, what an amazing thing for a person to do, that he would take upon himself extra stringencies, take upon himself to not do certain things, even though technically they are permitted. But on the other hand, the Torah tells us that when a Nazir is done being a Nazir, when he finishes his period as a Nazir, he has to bring a karban chatos, a sin offering. And the commentaries explain that since he abstained from certain pleasures, God gives us pleasure to have in this world, and he abstained from those pleasures, he's called a sinner. So which one is it? Is becoming a Nazir being super holy, or is becoming a Nazir a sin? And I think the answer is that it could be both. Meaning that there are many things that a person could do in their life. There are many times a person could look at someone, a holy person who's doing something, and he could say, I want to do that as well. But a person has to realize that not every situation is appropriate for every person. Sometimes being a Nazir is the appropriate thing for you. If a person is a person who's not able to control his alcohol, when he drinks wine, he gets into all sorts of trouble, and he knows he's going to get into trouble, then that type of person is a kadosh. He's a holy person by abstaining from something that he knows is going to take him farther away from Hashem. It's a pella. That's an amazing thing for him to do. But sometimes when a person takes on extra stringencies, which are not appropriate, when a person does something just to look good, when a person takes on these extra commandments, not because it brings him closer to Hashem, because he wants people to look at him in a certain way, or for any other reason that's not an appropriate reason, then that person is called a sinner. Then it's inappropriate. And there are many situations in life like that. Person always has to look at their situation and not decide what is everybody else doing. How is everybody else serving Hashem? Or how's everyone else getting their honor? How is everyone else doing what they want to do? A person has to look at themselves. A person has to figure out what's their mission, what's their way of becoming closer to Hashem. And if there's something that someone else is doing that's going to bring you closer to Hashem, then do it as well. But it's not always appropriate for you. You have to figure out what's the appropriate path for you, what's the appropriate way for you. So is a Nazir a sinner, or is a Nazir a holy person? It really depends. It depends on what his intentions were. If his intentions were pure, then he's a holy person. If his intentions were not pure, if his intentions were for the wrong reasons, then the Torah is telling us there is some aspect of sin to that as well. Let's make sure we're looking at what we're doing. We're making sure that we're doing things that bring us closer to Hashem. We're making sure to be doing holy things and to always be doing it for the right reasons. Have a great, great Shabbos.